we're not going to go live on Facebook because it's not letting me, but that's okay. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for jumping on today. We are super excited with everything going on. And today I have a special training that I put together. As many of you might know, one of the promoters we have here on our team, because it's all one big team, right? One big family here at Happy Travel, is Mr. Burke Hedges. And Burke Hedges, he's a legend in the industry. I actually have known about him for well over a decade. In fact, one of the first books I ever read in the networking space was his book called The Parable of the Pipeline. It's right here. So this book I got, it's been at least 10 years, probably more than that ago. And he wrote this, and it changed how I view things. It literally changed in my whole perspective on why I was building a business in the first place, right? If you haven't gotten it, I would highly recommend you go get it. I don't know, Burke, if you're watching this, maybe you can hook us up. But anyway, so Mr. Burke Hedges is now here with us in our happy family. He's awesome. And his book, and he's written several books, but this one, The Parable of the Pipeline, is just a quick way to understand what it is we're doing and why, right? And to kind of have that perspective and, maybe just the little bit of the long term on this, because I think one of the biggest issues we always run into when we're trying to build a team is that people need money, right? And so they're looking for the get rich quick. They're looking for the way to make money right away, or at least the majority. Entrepreneurs and other business owners stuff, maybe not so much, right? Maybe they're doing fine and they've got lots of income coming in and it's okay. And they're just looking for more streams of income, right? And that's okay. And so they've got time and patience, whatever. But because they already get it, right? They already understand this concept we're going to talk about today. But for the masses, for the individuals that aren't entrepreneurs, that haven't ever done networking before, or affiliate marketing or whatever, it's a new concept for them. And this book really helps put it into perspective and help people understand, it's not something that's going to make you a millionaire overnight, but if you spend time and effort every day building out your pipeline, then what it will bring to you is residual income that will allow you to then be free. And it might take you a year, it might take you 5 years. It just depends on you and your team and your effort and how much you want to put into it and all that. But still, it's way better than the alternative, right? So let's dive into this and just really understand what Burke was trying to say. So he tells the story about 200 years ago, right? Bruno and Pablo lived in a small town, and the village elders said to them, hey, you know what? There's a river that's kind of far away, right? And that's where everybody has to go to get their water. So what if you guys went and started bringing water in from the river and put it into the well in the middle of the village, okay? And they were promised the equivalent of $1 per bucket that they brought, and then of course Sunday off each week. Okay, and so they were excited, right? Yeah, that sounds great. We'll go and bring buckets of water right from the river. We'll dump it into the well so people don't have to travel so far to get their water and everything. Okay, that's great. So the village was willing to pay them $1 per bucket they brought, and Sunday off each week. So they were excited. They were young and strong and ambitious, and they could carry many buckets, right? So the first day they worked hard, doing 50 round trips, earning $50. Wow. However, Pablo was a little bit tired, right? His hands ached. He was not really excited about getting up the next day to do another 50 trips carrying the heavy buckets. So, you know what? He came up with a plan. He said, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be something we can do. So he formulated a plan to make a river conduit, right? A pipeline to the well in the town, right? So he shared this idea with Bruno, but Bruno just laughed at it. Like, Pablo, you're crazy. We've never done anything like that before. And you know what? I'm happy making money. They pay me every day, right? I can go get the buckets. They pay me. I don't have to worry about it. It seems like we'd be wasting a lot of time, basically. right? So, well, Bruno was, he just wasn't willing, right? He said, nope, I don't got time. I'm busy, right? I want to help out with the pipeline. And, he already had a good life. He was, making money. He was fine. But Pablo, he was like, no, we got to do this. But he knew also that he was going to actually have to spend money on tools, right? They're have to, go and get, material and tools and everything to build this pipeline. So Pablo was even less, or sorry, Bruno was even less willing to do it. But Pablo, he wasn't discouraged, right? He said, you know what? I think this is a good idea. I'm going to go for it. So he started doing it by himself, right? And he saved some of his income from carrying the buckets, and he actually bought some tools. And after carrying enough buckets in one day, he would then return to the river to start the project. So after hours, right, in his spare time, he would go and start building this conduit, right, this pipeline. And it was difficult at first because he was not used to it, right? He had never really done it before. He was just kind of getting going and trying to figure it out. Well, every day after work and for more hours on Sunday, because right, that was the day they got off, Pablo was out there putting his pipeline up. Okay. But at the same time, Bruno would finish his work and he would go with his friends to the cantina. Right. Bruno would go, he went and bought an expensive house in town and a new donkey and the whole thing, right? But in order to maintain these things, he had to carry even more buckets. He had to kind of double his efforts and keep going so he could try and pay all that off. Well, soon Bruno discovered that he was more and more tired and his shoulders ached from carrying so many buckets of water. And, his life began to be just about how many buckets he could carry and how many drinks he needed to have in the cantina to forget his pain. But Paulo, in the meantime, was making slow but steady progress with his pipeline. So the patience paid off, right? Soon, Pablo's pipeline was halfway to town. So with this, Pablo only had to travel half the distance to fill up his buckets. So this gave him even more time and energy to finish the rest of the conduit. And finally, the great day came. It was completed, right? Those in town had already seen some of the progress of the pipeline and began supporting Pablo. And they gathered around the well, and then Pablo turned on the faucet, and the water began to fill the well directly from the river. Wow. So now, when people wanted water, all they had to do was go to the well. Pablo still got $1 per bucket, but he no longer had to carry them. He recouped his investment in 21 days and started making good money, even if he was asleep or traveling. In addition to money, the freedom to have more time came. Since he had no longer had to go to the river, his days were freed up to do other activities. Bruno actually lost his job as there was no longer a need to carry buckets. He was sad and angry with Pablo. At the same time, he realized that it was his own fault for not anticipating the situation and preparing for it. Pablo had other ideas for Bruno. He wanted to help him, but Bruno couldn't see past the quick money that he was making. Could it be that Bruno could see now the complete panorama? Could it be that you can see the invitation that you've been given to also make a pipeline of time and money for you and your family? Your home business gives you the opportunity to build a pipeline that allows you to have a residual income and time freedom to have a better life. So don't let another day go by without starting to work on your own pipeline. So I hope that story, right, can resonate with you and you can understand, you can see the symbolism, right, and what it really takes and what we're really doing, right? Every day that we spend inviting people, talking to people, sharing videos, sharing information, sparking interest and on social media, whatever it is we're doing, those are things that help us to build our pipeline. And the whole point is that, yeah, maybe in the beginning, none of that is going to pay us very much, right? But over time, through the power of duplication, through the power of team building, all those things, it ends up that, we get a pipeline. We now have a team of individuals. We have a distribution model of an amazing product and service with an amazing compensation model and everything like that, right? That's all there so that we can eventually, right? 6 months, a year, 5 years, whatever it takes, we can finally be like Pablo, sit back and relax as the money just flows in. So that's my invitation to all of you. Don't take it lightly. I love that phrase. It says Rome wasn't built in a day; it was built every day, right? So that's our goal. Spend every day, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes, doing something that will help build your pipeline and help build towards your financial freedom. So thanks again for jumping on this morning. Hopefully that was helpful, and we'll see you all on the next one. Thanks so much. Take care.